No doubt many of you in the audience and your organizations are similarly concerned with innovation, and we just had a wonderful presentation about the Science Channel at Discovery, which is certainly on that track. So this is the reason why we have this particular panel titled Leading Innovation in Challenging Times. And we have a stellar panel here. We have a number of people here who are very knowledgeable about this particular subject and are well positioned to provide insights into how we encourage innovation and how we lead it.
Innovation is absolutely about being curious. That's the most fundamental thing. If you can train your organizations to be open about the fact that if we're curious about the world around us, we can discover things that combined with what we know enables us to be brilliant, you can be powerfully successful in any industry. You can outthink your competitors in any single industry. So I'd love you to think about that. I'd love you to also realize in an era in which we say to ourselves, God, we're really short-staffed. I love what Debbie said, because that's really an asset, being short-staffed, because when you're really short-staffed, then suddenly your challenge is to really unlock the genius in everybody, and what you discover is hidden in every single person in your organization is the potential to be brilliant. And as leaders, if you understand that and work with people and nurture them, you'll get amazing things to happen from all your folks. The third thing which I mentioned is the world is I'm not even up to 1 minute yet. Oh, okay. Whew, I'm sorry, I didn't even see that. Okay. The world is filled with brilliant ideas. Consistently go out there and engage the world. Go to museums, walk through neighborhoods, bump into people and ask them what they do. Look at what artists do. Figure out who knows something you don't know and combine it with what you know. The last thing is leaders rarely innovate. What leaders do is create the context in which everybody has the potential to be brilliant. By inspiring people, by engaging them, and most importantly, which is often overlooked, by thanking them for trying even when their idea doesn't see the light of day. Because if you do that, they'll try again and their idea will be brilliant the next time. And the last thing is people work best when they're encouraged to really do something remarkable that matters to them. And so set your goals in a way so that people are inspired to be brilliant and remarkable. Undergraduate class at Rice University. Students are challenged to figure out, is there any way at all, without electricity and using a budget of less than $50, that we can somehow make a difference in the developing world by figuring out how, in some way, to diagnose and begin to treat anemia? Cool thing for the Science Channel. 2 young women decide this is a cool challenge. They go to Bed Bath & Beyond or their local kitchen store, they get a salad spinner. They decide we can turn our salad spinner with just a few other parts into a centrifuge. They in fact do it. It's being piloted in 2 countries in Africa. Stop. I think we're dry now. Okay, that'll work. Okay, it's being piloted now in 2 countries in Africa, 2 countries in Asia. Costs less than $30. They're able in 20 minutes to test 15 blood samples. 2 19-year-old kids challenged to think about how to make the world better using ideas around them.
No, you stand back and you say, one of the things about creativity and innovation, it's almost like some people think it just kind of falls out of the sky, like there really are muses and geniuses that come to us in the dead of night and speak to us, and therefore we have these amazing epiphanies, and that impacts our work. Some of us do, and I work with some people who do, but by and large, it's enormous discipline. It's thoughtful, really thoughtful, strategic work around what does it take to be creative. It takes not just that aha individual or individuals, but also this whole pipeline of talent that goes throughout an organization on picking those great ideas from all of the great ahas, being able to put language around those ideas that people can then get and understand, all of the technology to then stream it into all of your audiences or provide it to those constituencies that you want to have it. And in addition to that, it's not that it just goes on the screen, but it goes on the screen so that people actually are taken with it, that they feel it, that there is some kind of emotional connection with what you're doing, and that you don't distance them. So what we found were a number of characteristics that we really want to both study and implement in the organization. You've got to know the business. You've got to know your people. you've got to ensure that they have challenging and meaningful work, and that's to them, that they truly feel challenged, that it is something that has an impact, and it's something of beauty, that there is risk-taking but trust, because people have to trust that when they take risks that they can. That there's a lot of debate and a lot of idea support, and that there's fun. So now, one of the things about this, about the culture, about leading a culture of creativity and innovation, not only setting great direction, not only putting in place an environment that has the characteristics that I just spoke about, but also having a lot of fun, really having a lot of fun. And let me close very quickly, and that should have probably been my closing, but one last example. In June of this year, Discovery celebrated its 25th year with all employees throughout the world volunteering for service in their communities. That was all employees, all globally, a day of volunteerism. Weeks before the day, one message was placed throughout all locations at Global Discovery. It simply stated, our corporate policy for 25 years. Dream.
Here we have the portfolio of 18 brands, and a lot of people say to us, well, why do you have so many brands? And as I think all the marketers in the room will attest, we know that consumers do not value all the same things equally. And they're more likely to pay a premium for an offering that deeply addresses their individual needs and values. And so we've learned that it's really crucial to ground every innovation effort in a deep understanding of the target customer for the individual brand that we're innovating for. A one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work, and it ends up with brand blur. And so I'd suggest that no matter what business you're in, and whether you have one brand or 100 or 0 brands, that it's crucial to know who you're innovating for, truly understanding their latent or unmet needs, their points of pain, or the big opportunities. I'll just share a couple more perspectives. And one is that to really move the needle, we know that we have to have the right mix of talent, build skills, hone methods, and create the right environment and culture to let innovation flourish. And I think that this process, we know the process requires both method and madness. It requires both science and art. And that's what we're trying to cultivate, is both of those capabilities. We need to be really smart about our processes, but find ways to let our people really let their imagination go wild. And finally, I would say we've learned that innovation is so crucial for us because innovation has the power to engage and excite, and it helps attract people to our company, it helps retain people, it helps us attract new and exciting business partners from different realms, and it's so important to our future.
And in fact, I'm going to quote a sentence by Clayton Christensen at Harvard Business School, where he says, the financial crisis and the economic downturn will have an unmitigated positive effect on the environment for innovation. Let me repeat that. Unmitigated positive effect on innovation. We've just heard about Marriott talking about creating stage gate processes and putting themselves into a discipline of innovation. We've heard about cost cutting and budgets that aren't even being granted right now. So why would one say then that it's an unmitigated positive effect on innovation? Well, thing number one is it focuses you and forces you to be disciplined. You no longer have the luxury of taking years to figure out whether an innovation is going to work, because you need to do it right now. And in fact, you end up focusing on the high benefit projects rather than the marginal projects that may not have the payoff that you're looking for. The other reason is because, in fact, most of these innovative companies that I cited before have done what other companies don't do. So, in fact, bad economic times is the time when you can really leap forward ahead of your competition. When you are all enjoying slack, everybody has money to throw at innovation, and so your competitive advantage actually is much lower. Indeed, it's in bad economic times that the smart company does not think about cost cutting across the board. Okay, so it's a 15% reduction in budget, so let me cut my R&D by 15%. Most companies, in fact, fall in that trap. Innovative companies, on the other hand, think about profitable pruning. How is it that we can focus and, in fact, spend more money on innovation rather than less money?